Welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett.
Hi, I'm AC, and I am drinking Sprite, fruit, and a popsicle. No alcohol.
I'm Knuckles, and I'm drinking a peach Perrier. Like a fancy lady.
Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm Iris, and I'm drinking an herbal tea, of which I forgot the name of it in between when I made it and now. It's from it's from David's Tea. But I'm drinking it specifically because I have my Zelda onesie on. Okay. Got one of the two I have. And I got my Zelda cup, and I've got my Master Sword infuser. I'm on theme today.
Theme is on
That's
point.
it. Yeah.
Alright. I'm Alice, and I am drinking a chai bubble tea.
Delicious.
I had a bubble tea earlier today from a shop. It was vanilla.
Very healthy, like, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that
health as
bubble
well.
tea masquerades as healthy, but is not.
It's delicious though.
Yeah.
And it's like
People
a beverage
think
with a
Chick-fil-A is
snack.
healthy. It's not.
Okay, so today I am bleeding, so this is going to be delightful, I'm sure. Today we're talking about female gaze versus male gaze, which is really mostly male gaze versus like a sort of new concept of female gaze, which is in movies. Disclaimer, none of us, especially me, are not movie critics or movie aficionados. I'm just a lady that watches movies, so here I am.
I took a
Okay,
class in
so
college.
I watched some movies, and I have opinions, so here I am.
Isn't that just movie critics too, though? Like,
But they went to school. Like, I assume some of them like went to school and studied film. I have not studied any films at all.
I took one
Other
on
than-
history, so I've seen like old black and white or talkies just a little bit, but
My
But I don't remember.
my study of film has been I like that. I don't like that. But here I am to talk about an issue with films. So I like movies. Yeah. But so a thing that I think we all can agree has definitely been an issue with movies is the male gaze. And I think if you don't know what that is, it is how usually women are portrayed in movies, just based on the camera angle, the outfits that they give the women to wear. Think Megan Fox. Is it Megan Fox in Transformers?
Yeah.
Think Megan Fox in Transformers, that like slow pan up while she's like working on the car, and she's like wearing nothing because she wants to hurt herself while she's working on this car, and she like throws her hair in a nutshell. That's it's like a way of looking at women that is usually overtly sexual, and not that male gaze is just about how we look at women. Like, there's also like the way that they portray men as overly masculine and blah blah blah. But we're talking about women today because that's what we focus on here in this space. But it's about camera angles, costuming, anything that was decided. And the term male gaze refers to male gaze because it's men that are the directors that are making these choices as to how to portray the female characters in the movies. And female gaze is newer because, hey, there aren't that many female directors. So female gaze is same thing, but it's through a feminine lens. So which there has been less of it because there are less female directors. And how they portray women is definitely very different. So I think where I want to start with this is I love Harley Quinn. I have not gotten to watch. I have not gotten to watch. I have not gotten to watch the Suicide Squad. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have HBO Max, and I'm not going to a movie theater because I am afraid of the outdoors.
Do the free trial and then cancel.
I'm probably gonna do that. I probably should have done that before we did this episode. But there's a really good difference between Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, not the first one, okay? Mm-hmm. And between the Harley Quinn that shows up in Birds of Prey. And if you guys haven't watched Birds of Prey, I'll give you a little, like, I'm sure I think everyone's watched Suicide Squad by now, right?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
The first one, not the, like, why'd they have to do that?
I still haven't watched Birds of Prey yet. But y'all tell me it's awesome, and I need to watch it.
It's awesome. I'll give you a quick synopsis of the difference between the Harleys. Same character.
Same
Suicide Squad was...
Birds of Prey
same character.
By
a woman.
Birds of Prey is directed by a woman.
Okay,
Suicide Squad is directed by a man. So this is I also have another example, but I like Harley because she is not that she's the focus of Suicide Squad, but she was the focus for me because I cared about her more than the rest of them. She in Suicide Squad, she is gorgeous, of course, but she's very sexualized. Her little outfit with the little tears and like her like super like tight around her boobs, like little daddy, like it literally says Daddy's Little Monster. She's wearing a collar, like she's just wearing a very sexual outfit. And not even just the outfit, the way the camera pans on her, there's like a scene of her walking across the floor. I believe she was still like when she was still doing, when she was still Harleen Quinzel and not Harley Quinn yet. There's a scene of her walking across the floor and the camera pans up from her in these giant high heels for no reason because she's a psychiatrist. And it like pans up and you just see like heels, legs, all the way up her long legs. And it just pans all the way up her entire body before you get to her face. And that's a really good example of male gaze. Like, it's like she wasn't doing anything sexual. She was literally walking from point A to point B, but they made it sexual because of how they like make you look at her.
Yeah.
Whereas in as in Birds of Prey, they don't have any gross pans of her. Harley's outfits are not like, they're definitely still cute. They're definitely still sexy. But she doesn't look sexualized. She's wearing like high heels still. She's still like wearing skimpy out-ish outfits, but it also like looks like she could go kick somebody's butt in them. And like she doesn't look like it doesn't look like she's an idealized version of a woman. She's just a woman doing her thing. She's still Harley. It's the same character, but there aren't any like gross pans over her entire body. Like it's definitely framed like whenever she's doing an action scene, she's framed doing action. She's not like, oh, let me move my hair and you know. So the female gaze in this instance just shows that the woman is looking at her as a character in a movie, not as a sex object.
Not as objects. Exactly.
So another example that I'm sure you guys actually like have watched is between the Justice League movie and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman being directed by a woman, Justice League being directed by that guy. But
two versions. So which one are we talking about?
That guy.
The original.
That guy.
I love that.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter, because we're gonna talk about the way the Amazonians look.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
if you remember in Justice League, the Amazonians were wearing leather bikinis for some reason.
They changed the time. They said, yeah.
When Wonder Woman came out, they're wearing armor. Now, is it like the most practical armor? No, but you could see somebody actually like all of their vital organs are covered, okay, with armor. So that definitely is a male versus female gaze situation right there. Yeah, it's hilarious because you're like, they're literally wearing. They're in the Justice League. They're literally wearing leather bikinis. Like they don't even have any metal on them at all.
You're like, yeah, this is functional for war.
Right? Like these are warriors, right? What's happening?
Have you guys had a meme of the guy complaining about I forget her name, the actress that she was in Star Wars and she was also in Game of Thrones?
Gwendolyn Christie.
Okay, but like he was complaining, like you can't tell that that's female armor, and everybody's just like, that's the point.
They're like, it's armor on a woman. It doesn't have to look like it's armor.
It helps her not get unalived. That's the point.
Hell yeah. I wanted to actually real quick touch on something, Iris. I mean, it's funny because like I was like, oh, I have a couple things to contribute. But speaking of Harley, we're gonna just jump back to Harley real quick. Something that I had read somebody's analysis of this. I didn't even think about it this way. Okay, so apparently, if you compare Harley's hair from the first Suicide Squad movie to Birds of Prey, so she had the long pigtails, which is a sexualized thing. Unfortunately, I never really quite understood that, but it's like a whole, it's
a whole
thing. high school like student kind of thing.
I think it's worse than that. I mean, like
idea that you could hold on
to it. That's the gross sexualized thing, is that they're handlebars. But in Birds of Prey, if you remember, she still has them in pigtails, but they're short as heck. You cannot grab them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I remember reading about that, and somebody had analyzed that, and I was like, that even just a simple change like that is like, hi, stop sexualizing me. Cut. And I was like, dang.
It's the same hairstyle. And
it's exactly. I was like, what a great. And it's also, I think it also signifies her liberation from an abusive relationship too.
I'm telling you, if you have not watched Suicide Squad, God, if you've not watched Birds of Prey, it is a delight. As a woman,
it's on my list.
It is a delight.
It's a delight. As a woman that likes action movies, like, you will adore this movie. Like, it's delightful. I love it. But I actually, like, I don't own that many movies. I own that on, like, the download of it because it's delightful. And I watch it whenever I need a pick-me-up.
Yeah, you're like, I need to feel like powerful.
It's nice and violent. Ugh, it's delightful. But let's see. So yeah, Harley's a great example of this. Oh, there was another good example that I was gonna talk about. Oh, well, we can talk about our girl who is no longer involved in Marvel, Scarlett Johansson. Can we talk about how she was sexualized for almost the entirety of the MCU, like disgustingly so?
Yes.
I did not get to watch. I have not watched the Black Widow movie yet.
Okay, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I'm sure I'm gonna love it, but like I was gonna watch it, and then the whole Disney Plus like grossness that they decided not to actually pay my girl. I'm gonna wait till it's free.
It on Disney Plus before I found out about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
I theaters before I got sick. So, but I was gonna actually buy it on, and then I heard about that, so I was like, well, I'll just wait till it's free.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give Disney my money to screw my girl.
Yeah.
Because they made me mad with that. But anyway, yeah, from the moment that she popped on the MCU, she has been sexualized, and it's really obvious and disgusting. They did get better about it as like time progressed. Like I think the last time that I saw her in the MCU was when they yeeted her off a cliff in Endgame. Spoilers. So
it's been 5 years. We're good. 3 years.
Yeah, like that's kind of like so yeeting her off a cliff isn't great. Like
there's also kind of a constant thread with her about being childless.
Yeah.
And
that's
her being
disgusting.
Less valuable for it, which annoys me.
Yeah, like, which is why she's like, it's okay. I'll yeet myself off the cliff. I don't have anything to live for.
Right. It's like her life is inherently less valuable in the movie because she doesn't have a family of her own. Because
and
yeah.
And like
she
and also it also super like yeah. You go ahead.
She was organizing the entirety of the Avengers to like help with the Thanos situation, right? So like while our guy was there. Oh, what's his name? Arrow. It's not Arrow. What's
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Hawkeye's over there like being moody, and it's like, wow, like terrible. Maybe I should eat myself off. My life is worthless anyway. What? But just treated her bad. They treated her really bad. She's our first female Avenger. I remember that poster when Avengers first came out, the first Avengers movie, where she was the only one with her butt showing, and everybody else is like, oh, and she's over here like,
I had a tangent sort of on the butt boobs thing.
Butt boobs, like it.
The promotional photo for what was the when they had all the shows on Netflix with Jessica Jones and Iron Fist or Iron Fist?
Yes.
Iron Fist, I think, was one.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage.
When they had the promotional images for all of them getting together, they have like Iron Fist like slumming it out like on the back of a car, and they have Luke Cage and his like ready to beat somebody up, and then they have Jessica Jones who gives 0 F's about her appearance in the butt boobs pose. And I'm like, no. They need
it's like, guys, did you watch the show? Yeah.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, she would be the one sitting on the back of the vehicle with her legs spread wide, like man spreading, and like not giving any care in the world, like what they think about it. And like Iron Fist would be the one who's like, oh, let me show off all my muscles and like do the butt boobs pose. Like
anyone should be I agree.
Did not fit their characters at all, and it annoyed the heck out of me.
Because Danny Rand is him. He's one who should be sexualized. If you're putting that. Also, so okay, but then I love that you brought that, because if you compare it to all of the promotional stuff for Jessica Jones, the TV show, you see none of that. And it's like, oh, look at the stark difference about how women are portrayed. It's like, here is a literal object. Look at the shiny, sexy boobs and butt girl versus, oh, look, she's a superhero just like the rest of them. It's a huge difference there. That's so annoying. I didn't know that, but I'm glad you did that. Oh, like, I hate to say it, I liked a lot of the Defenders, but felt like Yeah, felt like they plucked at least one writer from every single show and forced them to write for their characters because there was such a stark difference in how the characters acted and talked, and it annoyed the heck out of me. I hated Iron Fist. I could not get through.
I never got through it.
I just don't care about Danny Rand.
The first action scene in the first episode, I'm like, nope, I can't.
Well, here's the thing, Daredevil was so good, but the reason Daredevil was so good is that the guy that played Daredevil was actually a martial artist. Like, he had training, and he had, he did all this other, besides being an actor, but he had all this other stuff. And then when they try to do the other ones, it's like, they just went with acting and what was pretty, and not, they didn't give him enough time to train to do shit.
I will say, I do love that guy just because, like, he put so much effort into being realistically blind to the point that he had issues with auditions because he wasn't making eye contact when he was auditioning for other things, and he realized, oh, I learned that behavior for that, and I forgot to stop.
Fox is a gift.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
I remember his name. I wanted to say, I thought that was his name, but I'm like, I'm going to...
I suck at names. I just give up.
Okay, so I want to go back to Black Widow real quick, and I just want to say that I know we're...
Spoiler free.
Yeah, no, it is. My thing is, I'm mad about the toy line. With, when they came out with, Black Widow has a motorcycle that she rides, and when they came out with the toy line, she wasn't riding it. They had Cap riding it, I think. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong, Alice? I think I'm right?
No, you got it right. They took her
women don't ride motorcycles. What the hell?
Yeah, and so that was the whole thing. That was hers, and it made me so mad because they did that, and they also did that with for Star Wars with Rey. Like, you couldn't find Rey. For
that,
like
that boggles my mind. I'm like, did y'all watch the movie? She's a Jedi. Like, she's doing most of the stuff.
Star Wars and Marvel were acquired to appeal to male audiences. Their opinion of that is, well, we have the princesses for the girls. We don't need to focus on that. The whole point of this is to get the guys.
And but that attitude has only come from the marketing/product department. The creators themselves, you come into issues with a lot of stuff, but creators are way more involved in trying to put, whole people and characters on screen. All of that stuff, I don't even get mad at it anymore because it's so absurd. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's literally a bunch of old white men making those decisions. Like, they don't care about anything except money, and they're stupid because they don't understand how money works.
He who shall not be named
products.
Said that he picked Black Widow because she was his least favorite of the Avengers for the females, because he didn't want to focus on her too much.
I did not hear that or read that. Also, super. Can I rant about Endgame and the other one, Infinity War?
Rant away.
All right,
absolutely.
It's not going to be long, but in the vein of this conversation, it was very annoying because out of all of the Avengers and everybody's associated with the Avengers, how many women do we have? We've got Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Gamora, and Nebula.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter? No, she's
Agent
gone.
Carter.
Not by that. I'm talking about the two movies that do all of the Infinity War and Endgame, who do all of the things that actually see the world and blah 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 whatever. Whoever's involved, it's Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Nebula, Gamora, and Mantis. Right?
Mantis, 5. Yeah.
That's only 5 women. Who?
Pepper. She's in the final battle.
She is.
Oh, Pepper. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
And
Shuri.
Yes,
Shuri's great.
What's her? I forgot her character's name. Lupita Nyong'o's. What is that? I forgot her name. Lupita Nyong'o's character. What's her name? I forgot.
I'm looking at Black Panther.
So this many, right? Am I missing anybody? 8 people. Now think of the end game scene where everybody comes in to help. That's 8 women. Literally, the rest are men.
It's Oka. It's Okoye.
No, Okoye. 9. So Okoye is in there. No, Okoye is the leader of the
leader of the
Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the woman who is kind of like T'Challa's main love interest.
Yeah,
it's
Nakia.
Nakia. Thank you. I was like, I know it, but I forgot her name. So that's everybody, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's 9 women characters, right?
We could round it up to 10. Say there's 10.
Sure,
and there's like
50
male characters.
They killed 2 off.
Did you say
that made me so? No, I didn't say Scarlet Witch. That's 10. Thank you. So that's 10. That's 10. That's 10. And they killed 2 of them off for the Soul Stone. I understood Gamora. I hated it, but I understood it. But the fact that they literally, I just, okay, I'm sorry. Like,
Black Widow dying was dumb. It was dumb.
Yes, in game itself. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm filled with rage, because I can talk for an entire hour about Fat Thor, and the intense like bullying and all the awful things that they were talking. That poor man. Like, the whole time I was so uncomfortable every time Rocket.
I'm just like,
joke. I'm like, that's not funny.
You do realize nerds don't have like perfect bodies, right? Like, the people that are watching your movie do not have like godlike bodies. Besides that, he wasn't fat. He was doing his thing. He was depressed. Who gives a F?
He literally
still worthy.
Like, his entire planet and the vast majority of his people, including his sibling. Like,
yeah,
he has good reason to be depressed.
And Rocket said that at the beginning of the movie, you know.
Yeah.
I
think that movie did a huge disservice to its male audience, which is vast. Obviously, it's like when women and men saw that movie, and young boys and girls, and it's a huge disservice because, like you were saying, Iris, like if anyone is watching that movie, there's a high probability that they look more like larger Thor than any of the other characters. So, like, these people are seeing, basically Thor getting like just dunked on constantly because of his physique, and like, there's no way they're not internalizing that and feeling bad about themselves, which I think is absolutely horrible.
But
sorry,
I went to the movie the first time.
They tried to fix it by having him in the movie when he found out that he's still worthy. They tried to fix that, and I'm like, but that
doesn't negate everything you just said about him. Like, you're being so mean the whole time. Like, what the heck? Yeah. So that's, I just wanted to bring up, because I was really annoyed with those movies. The fact they had like a total of 10 women characters and they killed 2 of them all. I know Gamora 2.0 came in too, but like, come on, man.
Okay, and
killing the original Gamora makes sense plot wise.
Yes, like, agreed. But fighting Black Widow, I'm like, Natasha, I'm like, screw Hawkeye. You failed in this entire time. The comic book version of Hawkeye is so cool. It's so much more interesting. Like, you had the opportunity to actually have a deaf character. That would have been dope. And instead you're like, Jeremy Renner. And I'm like, ugh! I'm not a big fan of Jeremy Renner outside of the, movies and stuff. I don't even know why. I think at some point he said something really awful and like didn't really go back on it, and he's just a jerk, but whatever. Like Jeremy Renner. But super quick, spoiler free comment on Black Widow, the movie, for Iris. Besides that, but it made me less angry at the end of Endgame. Like, because without that movie, I hate Endgame, but with the movie, it's a little more palatable. You will see what we mean.
This is free.
Okay, yes. Going back to when you were talking about Thor and then making comments, I will have to say that the one line that I liked in that movie about everything, like, I didn't like how everybody was making jokes, the jokes about him, but the one thing was when he sees his mom, and his mom goes at the end when they're saying goodbye, and she's like, eat a salad. I was like, okay, I could see my mom telling me to do that, you know? Like,
I don't know.
The only comment I would have left in there. Everything else I would have taken out.
I mean, with that, you can tell it's caring. It's like, honey, you need nutrients. Like, you need to eat better. You're obviously not taking care of yourself.
I think some of that nuance is lost in a big superhero movie. That's the only problem.
Right, that's the thing. It's like I see it as a caring mom because my mom would have said that. But
although I will say, and again, quick tangent on the Thor story. Like, I loved Ragnarok to death, love Ragnarok, but also I feel like Infinity War, there's such a huge chunk of the movie is dedicated to Thor getting Stormbreaker that I was like, y'all should have just made a whole movie of him doing that. That would have made way more sense. I don't know, like, narratively speaking, there was so much going on with just Thor. I'm like, y'all could have just made a whole another movie or fit that into Ragnarok somehow.
My favorite thing about that whole movie is seeing Peter Dinklage. Is it Dinklage? Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as him as a giant dwarf. Like,
he's a beautiful man.
Oh yeah, he's so pretty.
He's gorgeous.
He's supposed to be real ugly in Game of Thrones, and they just they couldn't make him. They're like, no, we have to keep him pretty. We are not.
They were like, ugly. Yeah, they were like, nah, you're gonna fall in love with him, and it's like, oh. I have a thing about Megan Fox, like in the female versus male gaze, a very quick thing. Like, perfect example: male gaze, Transformers; female gaze, Jennifer's Body. Boom. Like
yeah,
like that's right there. It's such a stark difference in Jennifer's Body versus Transformers. Like, enough people have talked about this before, but when you mentioned Megan Fox, I was like, oh, Jennifer's Body, I need to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's crazy if you see. Go ahead.
The promotional stuff for Jennifer's Body, though, was completely different than the movie, because I didn't go see it because of all the promotional stuff. I'm like, it just looks like, a B-movie horror flick that's focused on her boobs.
They tricked. That was specifically to trick people that needed to see it. All the dudes, they were like, we're gonna go ahead and make this like sexy woman bait. And so all y'all who need to see this movie will go because they're like, oh, Megan Fox. And they go watch it. They're like, what is this? And it's like, I got you. Trick women right.
Where she's like a slut, but they think she's a virgin. Okay.
It's like she's like, no, I think you might be. No. You're talking. I think you're talking about Easy A with Emma Stone, which is another great movie.
No. Like,
she's a succubus, essentially, is what is sort of the idea. Yeah.
That's the point.
It's a good movie.
That's the beginning of the movie, right? Okay, I'll look it up.
It's and it's horror, so it's, I think, another reason that maybe it had a smaller audience is because I will say though, the horror genre, definitely, it's a vast genre, but if ever you're gonna get what's the word, revolutionary female gaze type of films and media, it's going to come from the horror genre first, because first of all, it's so vast. Like, for instance, The Babadook. Have y'all ever seen The Babadook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Directed by a woman. It's all about grief and like dealing with grief. And that's something that I love about horror, is that, like, take all of these extremely common writing experiences and put it in a movie, have a couple of characters actually just get really attached to, and have them go through it, and by the end of it, it's pretty cathartic. Usually if it's done right, it can be very cathartic for the viewer and the character. But like, that's
seen the new Fear Street movies?
Yeah,
I haven't watched those yet. They look
really good. And they have very different female characters.
There's
yes.
3.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I loved them. They're so I feel like they're the right amount of nostalgic, but they're also pretty edgy, because, like, hey, no, we are R-rated films. Like, we're not like, like CW, or not knocking CW horror, CW stuff all the time, but like, they're like, no, we are R movies. We're going to be talking, we're going to be showing graphic images, but like, it's got that amount of nostalgia, and I don't know, it was really nice. It hit, I don't know, it hit on a lot of really good I got a lot of really good themes over the course of the 3 movies. So highly recommend. It's definitely good to watch if I eat popcorn with. Like, it's just one of those like experiences.
It's on my list. I keep watching during the day. Have y'all seen the Final Girls?
Yeah, love it.
Okay. That's one of my
That's a good one.
Talking about powerful women, so that's where I went to start.
I'm glad you brought that one up because that's another one that subverts the trope of the final girls in Final Girl, where it's like, okay, like all the women in the movie get, killed. Like the final girl kills the killer or escapes the killer and becomes, his focus for the rest of forever. But another movie that's actually pretty fun in that same vein. Have you ever heard of The Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon? I will talk about this movie until I die. It's so much fun. It starts off kind of goofy, and because it's like a small camera crew that's like following this serial killer around because they don't believe he's an actual serial killer, and then it switches. And like they have a final girl situation. Very, very, very good. Anyway.
So I had one last little example of at least male gaze to talk about, and that is advertisements. Sex sells, and somehow that sex only has to deal with females being objects of sex, not men. And that's male gaze, and it's lovely. Like when you have an advertisement for a sandwich, like a sub sandwich, and it's just like a woman being like,
Carl's Jr., Hardee's.
It's just like, yeah, it's like an ad for a burger, and it's just a woman like naked, basically, like in just a bikini, like eating a burger, like.
Yeah, like she's laid out on the car, like she's in a bikini, just like eating a burger the size of her head, going
Right.
Doesn't Fanta always have girls on the beach running in the sand or something?
Fanta, don't you want that?
Those are kind of cute, though.
Yeah. That is a good example of male gaze. And, you'd think that female gaze would be like the opposite, like sexualization of males, but it's not. It's not because women don't really look at men the same way, because we don't like super objectify men. Like you could talk about Mad Max, I guess, in that way, but even in that, the men weren't like as objectified as women are just on a regular basis. So it's hard to find. It's hard to find examples.
Romance novel covers.
Do what?
Romance novel covers.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see like where they have like all the flowing hair and stuff, and all of their like pectorals out.
I may have a book. Wait. Oh, I got one.
But the difference is, I would say usually the woman is in the man, and that's the difference. It's just, see, I freaking called it. See, it's like, hello, I am Fabio with brown hair, but also she's there, and she's just like, you know what I mean? Like the Sky Pirate.
The Sky Pirate.
Get out of here.
You want me to read the back of it? Okay.
Yes.
The second one. I don't know what I did with the first one. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so.
You ready? Okay. He is Dax, the Sky Pirate, hunted to the ends of the universe by the cruel interstellar coalition. He has survived the destruction of his planet, but he can't escape the demons hunting his soul, or the allure of the woman captor who wears the notorious gold slave collar. She is. This is how I got into sci-fi, was this stupid book, okay? So she is like space, like besides Star Wars, but this really got me into, she is, and kink. So there you go.
Yeah.
She is Captain Cathyla Claxton. That's a name. Once the coalition's top battle strategist. Only a great irony has her rescued by Dax, the coalition's deadliest enemy. God, these are hard words to say. I'm still sorry, still have fog brain. Okay, although she knows the secrets that can make him triumphant, she possesses the collar controller which can break her will, but his touch alone arouses her passion. If she can gain his trust, a chance to destroy the coalition together awaits them among the stars. And in the white heat of their explosive union, a new bond may be forged. Souls joined by a magnificent love.
Hold on. Wait, Casey, can you show us the cover for seconds? I need to see this cover. Okay, can anyone else
look? He
by
has
this
bolt thrower.
How is that? How is this sci-fi? Did they give it the wrong cover? Like, there's nothing about this that says they have to have. That there's nothing sci-fi about this cover.
They gave him the wrong cover.
What's it called?
Sky Pirate. It's
Sky
Pirate.
Yeah, the other one is like, it's like he's a cat person too. They don't even mention that.
Wait, he's a cat?
It's Inuyasha. It's Inuyasha in space. That's what this is.
I have a romance novel that the guy turns
Davis.
into a cat too.
Okay, it's Justine Davis, and
it was
the
same woman. I think it's
yeah.
a series.
So there's another one because this is the best friend. Or is this the first one or the second one? I don't know. Yeah, because there's the first book where because this guy, like the bolt thrower that he's holding, it's like a magical bolt thrower, and he's like, he's only one of the cat people that can control it. I lost the first book, and because my sister was like changing out her books, and she's like, "Here's these books," and I think she has them on Kindle now. So yeah,
I'm mad that they don't that the art doesn't show that he's a cat person because that's so cool. Like,
or he's
I
like
want
a
to see
beast
that
or something. Yeah,
it's cool. I want to see that. Like, that sounds wow. Like, I would never have thought that story was about that at all. Like, based on that cover.
Okay,
never would have picked
it's
this
not
up.
the same one. Okay.
I wouldn't pick this one up because it's a sequel. I would have because I like the other one. And then of course your memory, like I made this book better in my head, so I went back to reread it, and I'm like, oh, it was better. My memory was better than the book.
That's okay.
The one I was talking about, if you can see it.
Dora.
Dora.
That was good too. I like that one. He was okay. That he definitely turns into a cat. I like that one. That's good. There's a whole series of those.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I think romance novels they have a horrible reputation, and like, as usual, when women like something, it's deemed inferior, you know. But like, can I ask you? Well, can I ask you about that book, that particular book? Like, in the book itself. Wait, let's see.
So here's the first cover. Can you tell?
A little bit.
That's the first one. So are they not cat people, but they're like beastal people or something? I don't know. They make them slaves. Cool. And they wear like these controllers, but they're like they took their planet because their planet was awesome from them, and they turned them into slaves.
That's and it's about colonizing. That's pretty interesting too. Like,
that's they're the evil empire or something. So,
well, like, and that's interesting because that's an entire sci-fi world-building plot in a romance novel, and it doesn't make it any. It doesn't mean that it's bad, right? Yeah, that's bull. I'm that it's because the way they market it, they're like, oh, we're only getting it because of this, and it's like, no, we like lots of things. Like, you don't need to only make every single.
This was the first, like, I guess fantasy novel that I read because my sister had tons of these romance books, so I was like, I like reading, and I just grab a book off her shelf and be like, how do I read this one? And then she had ones about time travel, and I was like, I want more of those. Where do I find that?
You know what? I'm glad you brought it up. Like, I think in nerddom, like, it's like bringing it back kind of to nerddom. Like, we have a lot of instances of male gaze, but we do have a lot of really good, extremely like really good, founded and powerful in their own right, like women characters in sci-fi and fantasy. And like, I think we, like the ladies here, but also, like sci-fi and fantasy nerds have had better representation from the get-go, and also shows and books and movies that are sci-fi and fantasy heavy are more likely to be representative of the LGBTQ plus community too. Like, there's so much more queerness, and I've been watching, not to bring it back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer again in my brain. I've been listening to Buffering podcast where they go through every single episode of Buffy, and they talk about it, and it's been really fun listening to them. They're married to each other. I don't know if they're married anymore, but they were married to each other. So they're queer women talking about Buffy, and like, hey, I love it because they're like, okay, here are all the things that don't hold up and are bad and are problematic about this show. Here are all of the things that are good and it's like the difference is stark. It's like, yeah, like, because I love it that like the way they treat their women characters in Buffy, you can tell that there were women writers on Buffy, like just and sometimes the way a woman character acts, we're like, oh, that was probably written by like, so they're completely out of character. It's surprising that Buffy said this or Cordelia said this. It's probably most likely because a different person wrote that line, and usually they're male. And it's interesting to see all that. Like, it's been really cool to read analyses of it, especially after the very, very rightful calling out of Joss Whedon, like, for being horrible. Like, I love that happened. I feel horrible for everybody that he hurt.
That it took a male voice speaking up before anything happened. Nothing against the guy who spoke up. Like, it's great that he did, but I just hate that it took that for people to actually
listen.
Make any action. Like, I mean,
just because we don't believe women
before anybody would do anything, but like, it didn't really hit mainstream that it was an issue until he spoke up, and then like Charisma Carpenter was like, yeah, he's a jerk.
Charisma's like, hang on, hold
here. Asshole.
Iris made a good point. She says, what did you say? That because we don't believe women?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because women lie about things all the time. Our views and experiences and our ideals can't be believed or trusted because we might be making them up to make a man look bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because his reputation is way more important than, the other person's mental health and safety. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The patriarchy.
I love the world we live in. Where people will be like, oh, that person that got raped is definitely lying because this person would never rape somebody. Why would I lie about that?
Yeah, like, it was a horrible experience. Why would I lie about it? Like, what is wrong with you people? I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think, it's nice to see women being so much more, foregoing worrying about other people's reputations, specifically men, and just going for it. There's, hey, we're going to go ahead and just talk about what we're experiencing and try to completely change the climate of not just Hollywood, but like workplace in general, and be like, okay, we're going to make this safer for everyone because men get molested and sexually assaulted too. Brendan Fraser, like, he's finally coming back after all of those years being basically blacklisted from Hollywood because of some jerk. I just
want to give him a hug.
I know. That's it.
What? I did memes of him right now. Like, I keep seeing memes of him everywhere.
Well, he's able to work again. Like, he's actually going to be in a movie soon, so he's doing a lot of work.
Oh.
And yeah. He recently
that service where you can purchase like time with them.
Cameo. Yeah.
Oh,
and that was really cute because like this woman dressed up as Evie on TikTok. She dressed up as Evie from The Mummy and posted a couple of clips on TikTok of her and Brendan Fraser, and she was just like, hey, listen, we're all rooting for you, we're all really excited for you back. And he got a little choked up, and that it went viral. It's really sweet. Like, oh, it's great. Oh, but like, speaking of him, it actually links it back to our conversation about female gaze versus gays because of George of the Jungle. Do y'all remember that movie?
Yes, yes. Watch out for that tree. Yeah,
George of the Jungle and The Mummy. I think we've got enough. Everybody knows about The Mummy at this point, but George of the Jungle, I feel like, is a bit less in the lexicon of current culture. So like not really quick, but like George of the Jungle was absolutely shot through a case. Like, I think George was objectified he was. I mean, I'm not arguing that. Like, he was a beautiful man, and they are very, like in your. But they also don't simultaneously objectify I think Ursula. What's her name? Amy. Man.
I don't remember.
What's her name? It's Leslie.
It was
I think.
Ursula,
I think it's Leslie.
yeah.
Her. Yeah. The character's name's Ursula, isn't it?
Remember the
yeah. And she like
George
and
eat coffee. Then Ursula want George.
I remember watching that as a kid and not really like it just was a fun movie we watched, but like visiting it as an adult, you're like, they're so obvious about the way they show George versus Ursula because she is always clothed. Anytime he like they interact, it's very respectful of each of them. I mean, they objectify, don't do anything to him. They don't go after him. They don't try to touch him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very respectful. But the other guy who comes in and like immediately tries to, take power from her and control her. I really like that the movie makes it very clear, like, hey, this behavior is bad, or this behavior is good. Like, you know what I mean? I have to go rewatch it. Like, I haven't seen it in so long, but there's some great lines. But yeah.
My favorite, like, the one that I think of most often nowadays is when I'm on the internet, people will write awe, A-W-E, when they mean, like, cute. And the scene where they're looking at the mountain and the narrator goes, they looked at the mountain in awe, and they go, aw. He's like, aw, A-W-E. Ooh.
Ooh. We look at that. We don't have that anymore. That's a great joke.
But yeah,
what was that?
No, I went on a river trip recently, and for some reason we got into a kick, and we just kept quoting Brendan Fraser movies because we quoted George of the Jungle and The Mummy because like we were going down a river, and you have like the little islands on the side where you can just stop and eat.
Yes.
And so like one of us stopped, and then someone stopped on the other side, and we go,
No.
"Hey, looks to me like I've got all of the food," and then the person was just like, "Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river."
That's so
what I wanted to say, what I was trying to say before the technical difficulties, was, so George of the Jungle was directed by a man, and as much as George was objectified, he was objectified in such a way that the male viewer could be George. He was desired by women. He had a beautiful body. He wasn't viewed like through the camera lens as an object. They didn't pan on his body. They said, this is a desirable man. You could be George of the Jungle if you wanted to be.
So you're saying George of the Jungle porn?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, like in a much more innocent way, but it's technically the same thing.
It's like you too could be a desirable man. Think about it. You want to be George of the Jungle.
Look out for that.
I still appreciate though, because at least they also made him a great character. Like he was respectful.
Yeah, he did.
Thank
yeah,
goodness. Because they could have.
You want to be George.
Yeah, like you want to be George, not this other safari guy whose name escapes me. It was probably like Chad.
Lyle.
His name? Lyle? Worse.
Aw.
Lyle, fine, but also like, oh, Lyle. They should have named him Len. Lyle. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I haven't seen it since I was like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, had it on VHS.
No, does anybody remember that one?
What was it?
It was
kind of broke up.
Encino Man with Brendan Fraser. That was his first movie.
Yeah. Oh, good old Brendan Fraser.
I remember Monkey Bone.
Yeah, but
Monkey Bone.
That was terrible.
I remember that movie.
Terrible.
Monkey Bone.
There was a movie he did with Reese. Wait, not Reese Witherspoon. Alicia.
Alicia Silverstone.
What was it?
Blast the Past. I liked that one.
Yeah,
that was a cute one.
We watched that one in school.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
I like
that one was
Journey to the
good. I like the
Center
dad in it.
I watched
Yeah,
it. I had no internet for a while, and so I was going through like all the commentary on my movies, and so I watched the commentary on that. He's amazing for the commentary. He is hilarious. Like they have this part where they just drop him down the volcanic shaft, and they actually just dropped him. They put a bunch of pillows in his backpack and just like let go, and he didn't know, and so he like the look of terror on his face is absolutely 100% real.
Baby.
Right?
This is why he got hurt.
They just put pillows in my backpack and they dropped me.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Like, I'm gonna ask you for more money now.
Did they give him more money for that? But like, sorry. Yes, here's more. Here's a check.
But he did talk about like he very much loves pantomime, and so like he was having a blast, like pretending to fight with the giant Venus flytraps and all that.
Dude.
He's great
That
in
is cute.
Doom Patrol. I love him in Doom Patrol.
He's excellent in Doom Patrol. Goodness gracious. That was like the first thing I've seen him since he's gotten, and I'm just like, and also that show was just top notch. Just, it's really good. I recommend.
Mm-hmm. I love how they break the third wall and all that. So,
oh, the Tudyk, right? Come on.
yeah, they do that at the very beginning.
God,
Where's
that's a good
that guy?
show.
He got another job offer.
Highly recommend that one. Highly recommend that one. If everybody, it's coming back for season 3. I saw, so that's good. Thank
Okay,
goodness.
cool. So it ended on it ended short because of COVID.
So. Yeah, and on a cliffhanger, I'm like, thanks for that.
yeah. So, did we do the thing?
Yeah, I think we did.
I think we did it.
Okay. So we made this uncomfortable world a little bit more comfortable.
So like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. Thank you. Bye.
Oh gosh, this is going to be a glitchy mess.